Hello and welcome to second level of security detection using behavioral biometrics for mobiles, a project of SOC AI, solving crucial problems with AI. My name is Adnan Khan and I am a PhD student at College of Science and Engineering, Hamad bin Khalifa University, Qatar. Many smartphones are lost every year with a meager percentage that is being recovered. So users with malicious intent access these phones and use them to acquire sensitive data. So there is a growing need to replace expensive two-tier authentication methods like one-time passwords. So we have proposed a solution that is based on behavioral biometrics and machine learning in order to get rid of these expensive two-tier authentication methods. So what we are basically doing, we are basically collecting how users interact with their devices. For example, how they hold their phone, how much pressure they insert on the touch screen, etc. We basically find the patterns or the behaviors and the features that are unique to a person. There are numerous attributes that are unique to a person. For example, fingerprints, left-right hand combination, finger length, device type, geolocation, operating systems, connections, swiping speed, navigation patterns, gesture analysis, typing behavior, scrolling behavior, and how they hold their device. So these are all divided in biological, contextual, user, and physical patterns attributes. So we are using these attributes to find out a unique person that is basically the authentic user for that mobile. Mobile devices are used in almost every day in everything in our daily activities for communicating with others, for taking photos, for storing official documents, and even for bank transactions. So the data stored on these devices is massively large. So users can store terabytes of valuable and confidential information. And securing this data from unauthorized persons is increasingly important. The most popular traditional ways to protect mobiles devices are using personal identification numbers or only the screen patterns. But the screen patterns and PIN numbers can also be stolen or it can be guessed by the unauthorized users. Our idea of developing this behavioral security feature will have a direct customer impact due to its unique features in order to unlock your phone. There are numerous applications, for example, the mobile lock screens, alternative enhancement to facial and biometric scans on mobiles, mobile app banking application logins. All applications that require a password for login can use our solution. For example, here in Qatar, Metrash 2 is an application that basically stores confidential information and the documents for a unique for its citizens. So latest point of sale machines in case of single user case that can also use our applications. If the device is stolen or if any other than one owner is trying to access their device for any reason, for example in the ATMs or touch keypads in banking sectors, lockers and safes. So it can also be used in the keyless home entry smart locks. So what we are providing a mobile application that can be downloaded on Android devices very easily. The application prevents others who have access to the phone from gaining access even if they know the password. The idea utilizes if they even type the same password that you have, but in that case also we can find out that this is not an authenticate user. The idea utilizes behavioral biometric authentication to determine if the person attempting to enter the password, if it is the correct one also, but if he is the real valid owner or not. And we can deny access even the password is correct. Using keystroke typing behavior, our application will learn the patterns of the keyboard strokes. So what we're gonna do is to capture a small data set, for example, from a small data set from the authenticate user for our algorithm to train, and then observe their style of entering the password. Then we select some features from that stored data and to process and then process it, making it faster, more accurate, and more efficient. To identify and select the features with the most favorable results that are directly related, the exhaustive approach, heuristic approach, incident-based approach, and there are many evolutionary algorithms that we will use. ultimately is the goal of pattern recognition, pre-processing, feature extraction, and then classification of the data to extract meaningful data or patterns from that specific user, and then train our algorithm and categorize that whether this is a authentic user or not. For example,
my phone, and I'm going to do some activity on the phone, and our application is going to record the activity and generate a unique fingerprint for my identification. So once the activity is done, a unique fingerprint has been generated. Now let us imagine that somebody takes over my phone and gets full access to it. Imagine that Adnan has got access to my phone and he has been able to get my password also. Refresh. Now, if since he has access to my phone and my password, he can do anything. But we are hoping that the background activity while he types or he does the same activity as me will be recorded, and because every user has different style of typing or using the phone, a different fingerprint will be generated for Adnan. आपने वो थोड़ा नीचे किया है क्या? Yes. Now as you can see, if we zoom in, two different fingerprints have been generated, one for the original user which is a little orangish in color, and for Adnan which is yellow in color. Obviously with more activity the differences will be more separate, and it will be easier to distinguish between the authentic user and the fake user.
we have already published our work as a proof of concept in 2022 in the renowned conferences, and here are the links to these challenges and to these publications. So now as a customer or the commercialization and the market value, we see that the GCC overall smart market of the Gulf region is 5.53 million units in total of quarter one of 2021. This is a bit old. I have so according to the research from International Data Corporation, for our proposed solution, the key stakeholders are the banking sector especially, and then the government entities like I have introduced you to the Metrash application here in Qatar. So we can expand it to whole GCC also. So mobile device manufacturers also we can give them this for entering their pattern for unlocking their phones. So we can also use our we can also provide this our application to the banking sectors for to reduce their budget for the one-time passwords. For example, the one-time password is really expensive if the customer is not in their own country, and if it is abroad from not in their own country, then it will heavily cost to the banking sector. So we are really providing a very cheap solution to them. Our mobile application will add security to a device and grant access to only specific users that the device is trained for, and they are basically the real owners of the device. So the protection would be extended to more entities such as banks, other entities that require extensive security features, and it can easily replace one-time password in mobile banking applications. So it can also reduce the telecom expenses incurred in sending SMS, especially the international SMS costs. So here I am presenting a very small GCC smartphone brand share for Samsung, Apple, Xiaomi, Vivo, and others. For example, we can see that the Samsung really contributes to the biggest market share, and it basically is a Samsung is a really big market share, and it is based on the Android phones. So we can simply penetrate into the smartphone applications with Android phones. So we can market our product from our website and personal visits and presentations to these stakeholders, because these stakeholders are very important, and we can have a personal visit to convince them that they can use our model to to find out whether the users are authentic or not. The revenue model that we have created is a very basic one, that is for the commission base. For example, there will be a very fixed commission based revenue model that is used for our revenue generation for every customer. For example, in the banking sector, if A fixed commission per day for the banks, that is only $0.05, or we can negotiate this price also for each user for a day anywhere on the earth. For example, this is a Android application, and anywhere on the earth it can be used if the user has an internet. So I if we only charge $0.05 per day for a user, for how for two for such many number of attempts he can make in one day. For example, for an international user, it is traveling. So the banking sector has to send them the one-time password every time he logs in. So this means there are incurred increased cost for the banking sector. But what we are proposing is smart application, which is only connected, which can be used from by the which can be used through the internet. So this means that the user can only being the bank can only being charged $0.05 per day, and if there are 50,000 users per day, and this is very short number, and this is very small number, 50,000 users per day. But if at least 50,000 users per day, we see that we can have $2,500 per day revenue, and for 1 month it can go up to $75,000 per month. So here are basically some publications that we have already published our work in last year 2022 by analyzing keystroke dynamics using wavelet transforms. So this was basically as a proof of concept that we have published our work. Thank you very much.